All right, guys, welcome to Right Perspectives. So, the word of the day is hypocrisy. The reason why we're going to focus on that word is because it's one of the Democrats' main weapons. You know, they have an ability to literally tell you one thing while they're doing another, or represent one thing while they really are about something else. And a classic example would be black liberals. And I want to talk about in this video, as you see by the thumbnail, black liberals like Crockett and Johnson who fight for the poor. I mean, at every turn, they're talking about how they fight for those in poverty and how government can help people, not help them get out of poverty, but help them sustain a impoverished life successfully. And it's real frustrating because in the background, these people are earning millions and millions of dollars. I mean, they got stocks, real estate, all sorts of investment. Now, they won't tell you how they attain that. They will never speak about how they got their stocks, how they're really just like Donald Trump at the end of the day. They're devout capitalists, and socialists get away with capitalism because the people never suspect it. They've assumed that they're just like them, that they are just as socialistic and poor as they are. And that's the most disingenuous thing I think you can do as a politician. And, the left has exploited this from black liberals. They know if they give them a little bit of money, give them a little bit of status, they can get these people to do whatever they want. And there's an article I came across called, well, let's take a look at it. Black liberal, your time is up. So some folks in politics, some journalists have actually noted this. They've actually pointed this out that these folks just use their black skin to keep black people voting for Democrats, to keep the Democrats in power, and they sell you with lines like, you need more SNAP benefits, you need more, uh, you need more housing for free. All these things that keep black folks dependent is what these people talk about while they live behind mansion walls and earn millions every year, but then you'll never see it. And so someone's calling him out on that. Let's take a look what he has to say. He says it plainly. Democrats, as you ready yourself to attempt to hijack the world of radicals. And by radicals, he's talking about true black radicals who actually want to see black people improve, who actually want to see our families tighten, who actually want to see race relations better. These are the people who get overshadowed by these, champagne liberals claiming to be, the next Robin Hood. He says, to go undercover dressed in your clothes and slip into the crowd, pretending that you are always there and that you are always us. Know that we see you. He goes on to say, you are here to translate an uprising. In other words, they don't want to hear the black radical message, that message that would in fact empower black people. So Democrats, white liberals, they get these Jasmine Crockett's, these Van Jones, these Mark Lamont Hills. They get these people to go on these talk shows and become pundits so that they can soften the message, so that they can try to just not so much get along with white people, but get up under white people and get pats on the head. This is the shift that these black liberals go for. He says plainly, you are here to show your black skin so that you can claim the mantle of authority on anti-blackness that white liberals have bestowed upon you. You are here to sit at their pundit tables before their cameras, your face beaming across the world as it provides the safest possible interpretation of a revolution. And everybody knows when you play things safe, especially when you're at a disadvantage, you're not going to get anywhere. If you're not loud and bold about what you want to see in a true sense and for the right things, then you're basically yelling into the void. No one's going to pay attention to you. Um, he says here, your face beaming across the world as it provides the safest possible interpretation of a revolution in order to police its possibilities and pave over the threat of abolition with a mild and ineffective reform as possible. And that's key. You know, Jasmine Crockett snaps her fingers and rolls her neck. But at the end of the day, what she's saying is sit back and watch us provide for you. Watch us get you more SNAP benefits. Watch us get you more free health care. Watch us, do everything to demotivate you from getting things for yourself. And you'll go and vote for us because they play on the fact that who wants to have to get up and go work hard if you have a politician promising you everything? And if you say that to people over and over again, they might resist it at first, but after a while, it'll start to make sense in your mind. You'll say, hey, well, why should I go out here and do this when I can just vote in a politician and they're going to give me free health care, free housing, free food? What is the incentive for me to go out and do anything? And these black liberals know this, and they tell their people in the white establishment, watch me get them hooked on this and count on their vote come election day. And I'm glad someone is finally calling it out. Um, and then he points out exactly the place of the black radical in this movement. He says, although uprisings are spearheaded by radicals, we are shut out of the public discussion. Neither the black radical nor the black radical thought is given airtime. Instead, we are forced to endure being talked about and having the revolution we fought for be diffused and repackaged to a palatable to the white liberal audience. See, it's all about not offending white folks. So if we can get our message to sound strong and powerful, but yet it's not something that doesn't scare white people, hey, we'll be in and we'll be rewarded. And these folks are greatly rewarded. Let's take a look at Jasmine Crockett, just one example. Net worth $9 million as of 2025 and rising. Let's see, she's got only 174,000. I say only, but to most people, that's a great living. But she's getting 174,000 of taxpayers' money every year. But look at these real estate investments. $5 million in assets. And I'm sure that's climbing because you get the inside scoop when you're in Congress. You find out where to invest your money and how to grow it. And having that access, and that's why she's fighting so desperately to stay there. She's going for senator now, not that she has any chance, but because it's in a desperate attempt to keep her power and to keep the money flowing. Um, Previously, as a lawyer, she was banking $5,000 an hour. And I'm sure a lot of that work was paid for by the state. They go for the state money, which is the sure money. You might have a client bail out on you, or a rich client who can't pay. But when you represent the poor and your money comes through the state, they know they're going to get that money. So these are nothing more than business people. And that's a shame that more people aren't aware of that. They only listen to the rhetoric and fall in love with the faces and the charm, but they don't realize they're just being used to prop up the Democratic Party, who in turn are hooking up these black politicians with all the ways to make millions. And we got to talk about that. I'm glad it's being called out. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. I think it's something that deserves our attention. And as you get ready to go to the voting booth this year, you may want to think about who you're keeping in power. Are you keeping in someone who it really has your interest at heart, or who's just using your vote to stay in power, to keep the Democrats in power, and so that the money continues to flow? All right, guys, that's all I got on this one. This is Right Perspective. Let me know in the comments below what you think. I'll be waiting to hear, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.